Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tour through a few of the ologies. There's lots more ologies that you can research on your own. Here's that salmonberry we've been watching. It's ready now for some creature here in the forest to eat it. If you're interested in eating things that grow, then you're going to be super interested in next week. But first, let's hear from Jim about the wonderful opportunity that he has to share his love of ecology with students.
Hi, my name is Jim Hartman, and I teach environmental science at Westland High School. And environmental science is basically ecology. And I was asked to make a little movie about what an ecologist does. And since I teach about ecology, I'm going to try to do that here. So, does anyone know what ecology means? No, of course, you probably don't know the literal Latin, but it literally means the laws of the home, of where we live. And the basic idea is that the Earth, the planet we all live on, has certain rules that function how everything works. And the more we can learn to play by those rules, the better off we're going to be. And so what I try to teach is what those rules are and how we can learn to play by them. So first, I'd like to show you this right here. This is a plum tree, and these little guys here are going to be plums in about 2 months. And that is showing one of these relationships that ecology is all about. I should have also mentioned there's a famous quote that says, "All living is relationship." And that's basically what ecology is about too, is these relationships. So we're going to make some food here. This tree is going to make food that people are going to eat. But the people and the tree are not the only people involved in this relationship, because before there was fruit here, there were flowers. And the flowers only produced the fruit when they were pollinated. And do you know who they were pollinated by? They were pollinated by bees. And hopefully I'm going to be able to show you some doing that today, even though it's really, really rainy. So I teach my students about things like this. I try to get them to understand that all energy comes from the sun. That's where this tree got the energy to make this fruit. And that it flows from the plants to the animals, and to things that eat animals, and all the way up through the food chain. The thing that I thought we would also try to focus on is ways that humans have kind of messed up a lot of that, and ways that we can try to fix it. And a lot of it is simply making more plants. We've got a half a dozen little oak trees here. Oregon white oak. Those we started from acorns, and my students planted them, and these are like 2 years old now. They'll grow for maybe 300 to 500 years, and they'll get so big it'll take 2 or 3 people holding hands to reach around one. So my students are growing things like that. Also Douglas fir, that little guy there. This thing with the blue flowers, which I have several of, is a plant that helps other plants grow by fertilizing the ground. Its roots help fix nitrogen, which is a nutrient that plants need, into the soil. We also try to do some things that help the animals do their jobs. Here's another tree making fruit. This is an almond, but right behind it is a little birdhouse, and my students build birdhouses to help the birds, and we grow plants to help the forest. And one of the things we're especially trying to help are the pollinators that make all this food happen. Now he's flying.
I see him.
That's a bumblebee, and bumblebees are really important to our food production and to the way that nature works, to the ecology, but they are, like many things, in trouble. That is for other kinds of bees, but it's a little home, it's a habitat, it's sort of like that birdhouse. So I realize this is a long and rambling video, but what I'm trying to say is that as an ecology teacher, I try to help my students understand the way that nature works and try to help the players in nature so that they can work better, since people have done a lot of things that make it harder for nature to work. And I'm Jim Hartman, and that's my story. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thanks, Jim. A garden can be almost anything. Some people grow vegetables in raised beds to make it easier to harvest them. Some people grow their vegetables right in the ground, just as everybody has done traditionally for lots and lots of years. This is a wild rose I found while I was walking in my park. Do you have roses in your neighborhood? Roses are a great example of how people have changed plants that they found in nature and saw things in that they thought were special. So what is different between this rose and one that you might see in your yard or your neighborhood?